So in this cow's world, she has a problem affecting her 24 hours a day, every single day. And to her, it's the biggest problem in the world. This is the Hoof GP. So this might be quite difficult for you to see, but this cow is feeling quite a lot of pain through one of her feet. Although it's probably not immediately obvious to you guys. She's really sore on her front right foot. Can you see it now? As she walks up the race and tries to turn here, you can really see how much pain is going through that foot. So let's get her in the crush and see what's wrong with this foot. So as we begin to clean up this foot for you all to see and for me to have a little better look, I can tell straight away this is the problem foot. That's for two reasons. This foot is the problematic one on any cow's front feet. It's usually the inside claw that takes the brunt of the weight and the force when they're moving around or splitting their feet apart. But also, if we look from this angle, you can see how high that heel is. I could be wrong, but I think this is gonna cut all the way back and slice right through the foot coming out here. In some ways I hope I'm wrong because I want this to be a very small problem, but in some ways I hope I'm right because then I won't look completely stupid to you guys. Not that I usually have to try. Usually you try to save the inner claw heel because this is where you want to put the weight back onto, but in her case, the angle of this foot was much too steep. This foot and this foot should both be about 50 degrees. Looking from that way. Right, let's see exactly, oh, that came away quickly. Exactly what is underneath here. Oh, I can tell you right now, that absolutely stinks. Oh. And it is completely full of... Yep, there's no other word for it. Right. Oh, it's really tough. The cow's feet here in general are actually pretty tough. They're outside for most of the year, but right now here in southwest Scotland, the weather is climate, to say the least. In other words, it's really wet. It's fairly cold, so it's about 5 degrees today. It goes down to about -5 at this time of year usually, but today is a bit warmer. So these cows are inside, which will not be helping this cow's foot really at all. These cows are much better when they're outside, in the green grass that they prefer to call home, but it's just not manageable here at this time of year. A lot of the cows go out and then you see them standing at the gate wanting back in. Right, I think we're going to reduce the height of this using a different knife. This is called white line disease. It's basically infecting the lamina corium. It's quite a good phrase, isn't it? Lamina corium makes you sound like you know what you're talking about. But that is what it is called. The lamina corium is what holds the interior of the hoof to the interior of the cow's foot itself. It's like a bunch of little fins all interconnecting, and they make this incredibly strong connection. But the problem is, sometimes if a cow bashes her foot or eats the wrong thing, those lamina corium or laminae can swell. And as they swell, they begin to burst apart. And this is the result of it bursting apart. Right, we'll get a block on there. This maybe seems like a very small and insignificant problem to you, while you sit there with your cup of coffee in your lovely warm living room with your husband or wife sitting on the other seat watching TV. But to this cow, this is her world. For 24 hours a day, that is hurting. So getting this block put in place is going to be a huge relief. Sometimes we see huge problems on this channel And that can sometimes make these problems seem very minimal. But just remember, if that was on your foot and you were having to walk around or even sit with your foot up, it would be throbbing constantly. So removing those outer layers of hoof horn should combat the pain from the inflammation, and the block is going to relieve it completely when she's walking. So we don't really need to do anything more than that. We've removed all of this overburdening hoof horn, we've taken all of the dirt and manure out of there, applied a block, carved all of this away, so even if the block fell off, which it won't because it's attached with Hoof Grip Pro, this would still be getting relief because this hoof itself is actually higher here than this one is here. So if this fell off, she'd be walking on this foot rather than this foot, which is exactly how you would treat her if you didn't have access to a block. Right, let's topically treat this with iodine, 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 however you guys want to say it.
Iodine.
Iodine. In general, you guys see me spraying a cow's foot with iodine once. In reality, we spray them multiple times. We need as much iodine on there as possible so it kind of forms a natural plaster so that this girl's feet can cure, keeping the dirt out and the healthy tissue protected underneath. These cows are herding animals, so as soon as you take them away from the herd, they start to get stressed out. At the end of the day, they've no idea that we're helping them. We're shoving them in a green machine, lifting them up in the air, putting belly bands around them, lifting all of their feet, and then prodding and poking at something that is already sore. So sometimes, unlike her right now, they get stressed out, but it's only natural. So yes, you don't really notice any difference as she walks out of the crush here, but this block lifting that inner claw right up off the ground like this is going to make a huge difference to her over the coming days. That kind of problem is healed in one simple trim. It's just a matter of actually getting the cow in the crush to trim her in the first place. You've been watching the Hoof GP and Cow 512.